Well, let's bring in from Beirut our correspondent, Leila Molana-Allen. Leila, good evening to you. Have the protests quietened down at all after Prime Minister Hiri's planned reforms were announced yesterday?
Well, this was the question. So yesterday evening, things did thin out quite a lot. Some protesters saying to me, we are just going home to get some rest, to carry on refreshed tomorrow. But the question was, would that happen? This morning, things did seem to be much calmer. Very few people out in the streets, but from about midday, again gathering. Tripoli in the north, huge really from early morning. And here, the numbers by early evening were larger than they were yesterday. Lots of people, even though a general strike has been called, are actually still at work. But everybody turned up here after work, as I say, bigger than yesterday. And the other thing that was different today was yesterday there was really this party atmosphere everywhere. People dancing, music. And some people were saying, if it's just a party now, have people lost sight of the thawra, the revolution? That isn't the case today. It really has a new politically renewed feeling to it. There have been platforms set up where people are making speeches, huge chants, flags everywhere, really bad reactions to Prime Minister Hariri's speech yesterday. One sign today said, Hariri, your speech was more disappointing than my future. Another big target of the demonstrations here has been Gibran Bassil. He's the foreign minister. He is considered to be very self-serving. Lots of chants going around about him, and there have been lots of people bringing their dogs here. Every time protesters see a dog, they say, Ahlan Gibran Bassil. That means welcome Gibran Bassil, the implication being he is a dog. So really targeted things at individual politicians. The other thing that's happening is businesses are getting in on the act. They're giving away free food and water to protesters, putting flags in their window. One designer down the road has replaced her couture gown in the window with a dress made out of the Lebanese flag. And today, students really made their voice heard. Universities said they were going to reopen tomorrow. Students at the American University of Beirut, here in Beirut, said no, we will go on strike. The faculty said the same. They demonstrated all evening outside the university, and eventually, just a couple of hours ago, the university agreed they would suspend classes again tomorrow.
And Leila, can this momentum that's building be maintained?
So the momentum itself, it seems, can. If you look around me, behind me, there are several different installations. People have put food trucks here, these stages, speakers, and that's the same in all the cities where these protests are happening. So people don't seem that they're going anywhere. They've actually set up tents as well to stay overnight and occupy the various squares they're protesting in. More of the issue is firstly whether the protests can be maintained with this atmosphere, this hugely convivial atmosphere, all under one Lebanese flag rather than sectarian flags, which is what's been so different about these protests. The problem is, as this carries on, people will start to feel the impact, the economic impact of missing work, businesses being shut down, the fact that the government isn't working. Some people are starting to say maybe we should let the government try. Other people saying absolutely not till they're out. So whether this convivial, everybody joined together, feeling the same things can be maintained, that's the first thing. And the second issue really is the crux of the problem and the crux of these protests. What is the other option? This is a decentralized system. There is not one leader who can be overthrown in this country. It's a cabinet, and the leaders are distributed across the country in different areas in the sectarian nature that the government is made up of. So actually, firstly, unseating them is incredibly difficult. And secondly, what do they do if they do unseat them? Part of the problem here, what people are protesting against, is that all the politicians here come from dynasties that are all linked to the same people who ran the country during the Civil War. There are no other options. If you don't have money, you can't run. If you don't have family contacts, you will never get into power. So even if they can get rid of the current cabinet, who comes next? Some analysts saying the best thing the government can do right now is say, okay, we'll give you another snap election in a month. Run again. Nobody else will be able to win because the civil society won't have time to prepare themselves. They'll win again and they'll say, we gave you what you want. Now let us get on with the job of governing.
Leila Molana-Allen, thank you very much indeed for clarifying the situation for us and pointing the way ahead in many ways for these protests, which looks set to continue. That's Leila Molana-Allen there joining us from Beirut.